Hello, avid seekers of true crime tales. On December 31, 1999, the Harris family was celebrating New Year's Eve in Del Rio, Texas. The family's festivities included inviting friends over, and their home was filled with children. Amid the excitement and noise of the celebration, Tommy Lynn Sells seized the opportunity to commit a horrifying crime. Sells, who had been lurking nearby, broke into the Harris residence during the late hours of New Year's Eve. He silently navigated through the house, ultimately finding his way into the bedroom where Kaylin Harris and her 10-year-old friend, Crystal Sells, were sleeping. With a knife in hand, Sells attacked both girls as they lay sleeping. He inflicted stab wounds on them, inflicting severe injuries. Crystal, though grievously wounded, managed to survive the brutal assault by playing dead. This courageous act would later prove crucial in bringing Sells to justice. After the attack, Sells fled the scene, leaving Kaylin Harris lifeless in her bed. Crystal, although severely injured, managed to get help. She provided a detailed description of her attacker, which was instrumental in the subsequent investigation. Law enforcement authorities launched a manhunt for Tommy Lynn Sells based on Crystal's description. Sells was apprehended a few days later in a trailer park near the scene of the crime. During his interrogation, he confessed to the murder of Kaylin Harris, as well as a string of other homicides across multiple states. Tommy Lynn Sells faced trial for the murder of Kaylin Harris in 2000. He was found guilty and subsequently sentenced to death. His conviction and sentencing were the result of both Crystal Sells' courageous testimony and Sells' own chilling confession to numerous murders. Tommy Lynn Sells was born in Oakland, California. His early life was marked by a turbulent and troubled upbringing. He claimed to have suffered abuse and neglect from a young age, which he later cited as contributing factors to his criminal behavior. Sells' violent tendencies manifested early. He claimed that he had committed his first murder at the age of 16 when he killed a young girl. While the veracity of this claim remains uncertain, it is clear that he had a propensity for violence from a young age. Sells led a transient lifestyle, moving from place to place, often hitchhiking or hopping freight trains. This nomadic existence allowed him to elude law enforcement and evade capture for many years. Sells' criminal activities spanned several states and included a string of horrifying crimes. He was known for targeting women and children, often selecting victims at random. His murders were characterized by extreme brutality, including sexual assault and torture. One of Sells' most notorious crimes was the murder of 13-year-old Kaylin Harris on December 31, 1999, in Del Rio, Texas. Sells broke into the Harris residence during a New Year's Eve celebration, attacking Katie and her friend Crystal Sells. Katie tragically lost her life in the brutal assault. Sells' capture came shortly after the murder of Katie Harris. Crystal Sells, the surviving victim, provided a detailed description of her attacker, leading to his arrest. In custody, Sells confessed not only to Katie Harris's murder, but also to numerous other killings across different states. Tommy Lynn Sells faced trial for the murder of Katie Harris in 2000 and was subsequently convicted and sentenced to death. He spent years on death row as his case went through various appeals. On April 3, 2014, Sells was executed by lethal injection in Texas. Sells' legacy is one of horror and controversy. His claims of having committed numerous murders, some of which were never conclusively proven, have left lingering questions about the true extent of his crimes. He is often cited as one of the most enigmatic and dangerous serial killers in recent history, with a dark and troubling history of violence that spanned decades. Tommy Lynn Sells' life and crimes serve as a chilling reminder of the capacity for extreme violence within certain individuals and the profound and lasting impact of his actions on the lives of his victims and their families. Tommy Lynn Sells had several interesting and unsettling aspects to his life and criminal activities. Transient lifestyle. Sells adopted a nomadic and transient lifestyle, which allowed him to move from place to place without establishing a permanent residence. This lifestyle made it challenging for law enforcement to track his movements. Claims of prolific murder. Sells claimed to have committed as many as 70 murders across the United States. While some of these claims were substantiated, others remain unverified, leaving uncertainty about the true extent of his killing spree. Early criminal behavior. Sells' violent tendencies emerged at a young age. He claimed to have committed his first murder at 16, although the details of this claim are disputed. Regardless, his propensity for violence became evident early in life. Adopted nickname, Sells became known as the coast-to-coast killer due to the wide geographic range of his crimes, which spanned multiple states. Method of entry, Sells often gained access to his victims' homes by taking advantage of unlocked doors or windows. His ability to silently enter residences allowed him to surprise and overpower his victims. Random selection. Sells did not have a specific victim profile. He often chose his victims at random, making it difficult for law enforcement to predict who he might target next. Brutal crimes. His crimes were characterized by extreme brutality. He frequently engaged in sexual assault and torture before murdering his victims. Surviving witness. The survivor of one of Sells' attacks, Crystal Searles, played a crucial role in his capture. Her detailed description of the assailant led to Sells' arrest and subsequent confession to multiple murders. Death penalty and execution. Sells was sentenced to death for the murder of 13-year-old Kayleen Katie Harris. He was executed by lethal injection in Texas in 2014. Controversial legacy. Sells' legacy remains controversial due to the unverified nature of some of his claims. While he was undoubtedly a prolific and brutal serial killer, the true number of his victims may never be known with certainty. Tommy Lynn Sells' life and crimes continue to be a subject of interest and debate among true crime enthusiasts, criminologists, and law enforcement professionals. His ability to elude capture for an extended period and the gruesome nature of his offenses have left an indelible mark on the annals of criminal history.